After our Memorial Day vacation, the Integrity Ignite Series returns with a West Coast trip to Avondale, Arizona. Previously the host of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship and the Integrity Octane Series title race, this venue, the Phoenix Raceway, is no stranger to the field, and it'll play host for 140 laps and 140 miles of action-packed racing. We're only 1 week away from the half point of our 2025 Integrity Ignite Series season. This is our 14th race on the calendar, and it's about time now that we head back to Arizona. Welcome to the Phoenix Raceway, a circuit we've visited multiple times before, and always do our heavy hitters rise to the occasion when we make it to this venue. Tonight is looking to be no exception. JTM Motorsport leads the top two championship spots, and they have a gap of 60 points to the next best driver in third. It's Thomas Bressi holding the championship in his hands. Matthew Thunhorst, after a phenomenal performance 2 weeks ago, closed the gap to only 21 points. Now, both drivers are set to go at each other in the LED Cactus 140 live on FTN Broadcasting. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Tonight is looking to be a thriller, of course, not only because we know this track oh so well, but because the talent of the field has been so consistent. Ethan Lane gets up to the top of the qualifying board. He's there by 81 thousandths of a second as the sun continues to set. 2 minutes 14 seconds left now as drivers are still taking times. So far, it appears that more than 20 of which have been taken. Most now are already in pit road. There's a look at Gavin Fitzgerald in the number 14 car. Fitzgerald right now in 19th place as we get things rolling here. Looks like just about 35, 36 drivers in this field, which, despite the fact that's a major car count, one of the smaller numbers on the season. We might be able to get up to the sub-40s if we have some last-minute registrations, but right now, still looking at a stout field of more than 35. Brandon Bernhardt coming across the final corner with contact. That's a 27.408, but that lap time won't be validated. Nick Tarbuck puts his first time in and goes 30th and last of those with the lap. He'll need to make it up big time, and he's already a half second quicker coming down the back straightaway. It's going to be turns 1 and 2, and then the long back straight. Then Tarbuck heads toward 3 and 4, and at the final corner, Nick's going to make it by quicker, but I don't think it's going to be enough for a significantly better time. Tarbuck goes 19th and is showing some qualifying struggles. The 29 car. Nick has been very strong this season, qualifying maybe not always going his way, but he's third in the championship standings and is going to need to recover big time to make anything of the night. Paul Mikolajczyk now on the way, one-time podium sitter, is 31st in qualifying. It looks like he's going to go no higher than that and could go lower. Cal Filarski in the 39 Ford Mustang, one of the final drivers to take to the track with 30 seconds remaining. Not a driver able to get up to the Ethan Lane time. DJ Stagner, the last of which to set it up front. He'll go 6th place in the number 64 car. Thursday night, he won the last race of the Highline Racing League season. It was his third win on the campaign, and he was able to come home third in the championship standings by proxy. Filarski comes across the line. That's a 27.836. Good for 33rd, and the final time on the board. Qualifying has concluded. Ethan Lane with the quick lap, a 26.956. Lane, the only driver to get it under the 27-second mark. It's the fastest lap of the session, and tentatively speaking, it is the Integrity Ignite track record. We're going to cross-reference and see if that stands with race pace, but Ethan Lane with a heater to put it up to the top of the board. 5 minutes of practice now on the way for drivers, getting themselves accompanied to the circuit once again. Looking at a field of just over 35 as the stadium lights are already out. The sun set after our 90-minute practice session to begin the day. We had our 5 minutes of qualifying, and it looks like it will be all but pitch black tonight in Arizona. One thing is for certain, rain or shine, light or darkness, this field always brings it through at Phoenix, a track we've been to in the early morning conditions conditions, the afternoon conditions, and once again in the late nights. Our qualifying lineup is as strong as ever. Let's get to know the field from beginning to end. Inside of row number 1 is going to be the man who's on a mission, Ethan Lane. He's now up to 8th in the championship standings. He's up 6 after our last race, and now going from 14th to 6th in the standings. He'll take the pole position after our Memorial Day break, kicking off perhaps the second half of the season with a bang. Then from there, you'll have Matthew Thunhorst, 2nd in the championship standings. His direct rival is his teammate in Thomas Bressi. He'll begin the race P2 with Cody Smith, a Phoenix ace, in 3rd, and Sebastian Miller going 4th. Jack Drucker was able to come away with a podium in our last race. He'll start tonight in 5th. DJ Stagner is going to be starting behind his Swamp Motorsport teammate, beginning in 6th place. 7th place on the night. Then from there is the number 16 of Andrew Hamilton with Hunter Madalenas, the rookie, in 8th. Thomas Bressi and Justin Morton, JTM Motorsport drivers, 9th and 10th on the order, with Ronnie Osmer and Jake Miller concluding the top dozen. 13th place is, of course, just behind. That's Jared Davis. Michael Araya goes 14th, with Jacob Fife in 15th and Blake Gordon then 16th. 17th place is Ryan Potter with 18th, and Rob Ackley, P19 and P20, Braxton Weiss, Nick Tarbuck, DIR teammates, respectively. You'll then have 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, Nicholas Ward, Gavin Fitzgerald, Tyler Hensley, Casey Shue, and for 25th place, Josh Gallagher. Elliot Henderson, Kyle Cooper, Brett McClendon, Don Stevenson, and Adam Wood round out the top 30, with 31st through 36th, Andrew Schaub, Paul Mikolajczyk, Brian McFerrin, Steve Durham, Brandon Bernhardt, and the number 39 of Cal Fularski at the back of the field. 36 drivers and 18 rows make up the starting grid for tonight's race at the Phoenix Raceway. At the top of the board, your pole sitter, Ethan Lane. Lane collects the pole position after a critical race last week. Ethan collecting what is already his 4th pole on the campaign, the most of any driver this season, 2 more than second best in that category in Matthew Thunhorst. The qualifying ace brings it again. And right now, we have about 1 minute and 30 seconds left until we get to racing. Sebastian Miller is at the top of the board right now, and the Swamp Motorsports guys are 1, 2, 3 respectively. Swamp had an amazing season for the Highline Racing League guys. They were tremendous. Of course, Lucas Lodato won that championship. He was able to get the job done in a 4-win campaign over Scott Zellner, the winningest ever. DJ Stagner came home 3rd in the championship standings, and Sebastian Miller was able to secure 4th place, and he was able to get his first career FTN win in that season as well at the Milwaukee Mile. The Swamp was able to win more than half the races on the calendar. Just between Stagner and Lodato alone, they were able to come away with 7 of 15 wins, and Sebastian Miller getting 1 as well, and that just goes to show how great the team was. Miller comes down to pit road. DJ's on the way, maybe looking to relight the fire that they showed so clearly on Thursday nights. Thomas Bressy's looking for a recovery race. He's got the championship lead, and ever since swiftly taking it away from Blake Cannon about a month and a half ago, while he's been able to run from everyone who's not on his team, Matthew Thunhorst has been able to cut the gap in half over the last 3 weeks, getting it within 25 points. It's a, all things considered, very small gap now, and for the Bressi machine, he's got to think twice about whether or not he can race aggressive. It's about going back to fundamentals tonight if he wants to maintain that championship advantage into our halfway marker. Sebastian Miller, fastest time in warm-up, it's a 27.155. 140 laps, 140 miles on the table today from Avondale, Arizona. This is one of the fastest mile-long circuits that we have on the schedule. Of course, we've gone to the Milwaukee Mile. We have gone to other ovals of regular shape and scope, such as the Nashville Superspeedway. We're going there tomorrow with the Octane Series. We've gone to the Twin Ring Motegi venue. That's also going to be returning later this year. And of course, we've been to different configurations of Phoenix across our years on FTN. This modern configuration effectively flips the racetrack upside down from how it was established in the late 1980s. First ever race winner at the Phoenix International Raceway was Alan Kulwicki in 1988. It was the first of his 5 career race victories, and this was the venue where the Polish Victory Lap was established. Home of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship from 2020 until this year, the Phoenix Raceway has held pretty well in the fans' perspective. I don't necessarily know if it's a fan favorite now as the championship race, but by all accounts, it's been an exciting venue for a majority of its years. Ambient temperature coming in at 83 degrees Fahrenheit. We got winds southwest bound at 11 miles an hour, 85 degrees the track temperature. So, with that sun set, not going to be a lot of difference from what's on the pavement as compared to what the drivers are experiencing right now. So they should be in good spirits to hang on with some good tire strategy calls. Tonight, everyone has 4 sets as per usual. 40 pit stalls means every driver gets their own. And if we go the distance under green, we could split the race equally with 70 lap stints apiece. That's, of course, up to the field, and Ethan Lane and Matthew Thunhorse might be the 2 best drivers right now to lead it. The hard-charging Thunhorse will have to wait for the command from the ever-venerable Ethan Lane as the 6 car grabs a gear and gets it in motion. Welcome back out west. Ethan Lane puts it in speed. We're on the move from the Phoenix Raceway for the LED Cactus 140. Already you can see in that middle pack the significant difference between drivers who are up on the high side and those who go down low. This is what we were talking about, and we have to reintroduce it every time when we go to the Phoenix Raceway. The track was flipped in the mid-2010s, and a lot more pavement was put onto it. Originally, below that yellow line you're seeing, it was almost entirely grass. You had the pit exit, and then you had the dogleg. The dogleg, of course, at that time was almost entirely grass with the exception of the pavement we just mentioned. But now, drivers can go as far below the line, that yellow line, as they want. And that's something that has, of course, come into popularity for drivers, and you can see Jacob Fife in particular dropping down there. But when we say you can go as low as you want, we really mean it. And that's something that's going to come in maybe later in this race when we have those more aggressive restarts. But you can get all the way down to the pit exit line itself, and we've seen it happen. Brad Keselowski, for instance, in 2020, he did so in what became a rather popular clip. In popular culture anyway, it ended up being used in a Hulu ad for about a half year. But you can see there, Fife, Osmer, Lariah, Blake Gordon, all of which are dropping down significantly and making it happen just to try to cut some distance here. It's a mile circuit by length when using the racing line, but you can maybe make it a little bit less if you drop inside. The only advantage to staying on the racetrack then becomes the banking there. You can see that the apron is pretty flat, but if you stay out front where Cody Smith and Ethan Lane are, you don't have to deal with slamming your car to the inside. Sometimes it causes issues for drivers. We've seen a few spin, getting loose on the transition, and bobbling out. Smith right now has a clear advantage, and he is one of the best Phoenix racers, bar none. That's, in all honesty, perhaps his biggest strength. Caution's out, back of the field, let's take a look. And it's going to involve the 41, so we got problems in the back already. We're taking a look. Yellow flag is out. And at the back end of your field, drivers still getting themselves put back together. That's the rookie of Jake Miller in the 41, mind you. And he is still on the circuit, but he got spun. First caution of the day, 7 laps in. Miller was spinning, got hit by Fife, then up the track from Nicholas Ward to Ryan Potter. And it looks like he lost it on his own, and that's what began the ruckus. One more time now with the 41. Miller was running at that time at about the 13th place. This is the battle in the upper mid-pack. And it looks like just a typical error. Going through the corner a little too hot. Got loose, slid in. The in-car perspective, you can see there, shot up and down the track. One more time now from outside the cockpit, you might see what's going on a little better. It almost looks like contact from within. Miller's going to find himself on pit road, one of the many there at the moment. Was there any contact from Blake Gordon? It looks like yes, definitely there. Sliding to the inside, and Rob Ackley also gets a piece of it. Yellow flag out, 8 laps in. Miller is to pit road. Rest of the field stays out. We're going 1 lap to green. '18 is Smith Lowe. Number 6 of Ethan Lane up high. We'll go back racing at lap number 10 for your first restart of the day. .131 laps remaining. We go at it again. Lane on the outside. It was Cody Smith who got to the inside there very early. Looking to get the job done again. Maybe he'll be able to reclaim that race lead. Cody with a hot start. We'll see if he has the long run pace though, or if the inside is worse. Sebastian Miller stays high. JTM's Matthew Thunhorst is now on the bottom. Between Thunhorst and Bresci, they're split by 6 positions. Watch out for them. They're the title race. Smith with a jump on the inside. He'll get the burst down low. Look how far he drops. That's a textbook example of using the dog leg. Taking it off with a traditional racing circuit, we're on for our first restart. Double file, almost triple wide behind. Put themselves back together and go racing again. Chris DeWeese in the chat room, thank you for stopping by. So far, Braxton making some early moves to get up in the mid-teens in what has been an especially competitive field so far this year. Braxton is on what is a title defense run. Domination, Intimidation Racing fielding more than 5 cars this year. Whether or not they're part-time or not, that's all dependent on the racing schedule. But right now, DeWeese is 10th in the championship. He was in 6th last race and had to drop down 4 places. So he's looking for another one of those recovery races tonight. Braxton has been clawing his way into the championship picture and currently finds himself seated in the playoffs, but he'll need a couple more good races to really put himself in there. It comes down to the 20th race of the season. This is race number 14, so you'll only have about 6 races to solidify your chance at a championship. Right now, the top 5 drivers in points are in a very good position to make it all the way. Those would be Bresci, Thunhorst, Tarbuck, Drucker, Blake, Cannon. Everyone else, it really comes down to what happens next. You can't really guarantee anything, and Blake Cannon, again, is not up front right now. That's going to be to his detriment. Andrew Hamilton in the 16 making his move. Hamilton is a driver, and we spoke of his potential, still has not yet been able to make it in for a top 10 finish so far. Late race execution has been a continuous fall-apart moment, or rather, series of moments for the number 16 car. Andrew is about 0.3 of a second now back on the next driver, and see here, he's getting a little bit closer, bunching it up again. Jacob Fife in 12th is where the first and second packs divulge. 14 laps in out of 140 here. Side by side to the inside of the racing circuit, Blake Gordon all the way down, cutting that dog leg. And it looks like it's going to work out for Gordon to make that pass. Gordon oftentimes shows up well at the short runs for these tracks where tires and alternate groove strategy matters. Say, for instance, Darlington, he ended up having a very strong early run, but got caught up with some minor damage and shot down the ladder. Strategy-wise, didn't play out. That was the case last year, of course, and it looks like right now the Endeavor Racing team hoping not to fall for those same mistakes. There's up top the Jared Davis car, that Chevrolet Camaro. It looks like he is just ahead, making it down the back straightaway. Davis up into 9th place here. Andrew Hamilton, 16, 7th, up in front. Cody Smith keeping it over Ethan Lane. Lane has been able to make sure that distance hasn't really expanded all too much. Matter of fact, watch Smith get up on the wall now to the outside. Cody Smith brushes gently, but he'll get away from it. Cody Smith, with a gentle push off of turn 2, makes his way into the race lead again. Smith really lucky there. Shoving it off the outside wall. You could hear the scrape off of the right side, but it doesn't look like any damage, and more than that, he was able to get away with the race lead. To the inside, Ethan Lane goes again, this time Smith in more control, and he's using that high side very well. Not a lot of banking at the Phoenix Raceway. Every degree counts, but all these corners, less than 15 degrees of banking all through. Take a look from the back end now for the number 18 of Cody Smith. Ethan Lane, almost a ghost-type presence on the racetrack. You can see even the decals of that Toyota Supra are a little bit foggier tonight. I don't think I'd want Ethan Lane at all chasing me on the back end, but if there's any driver who is the specialist in Arizona, Cody Smith is the one. And so far, he's taken the pressure well in these opening 20 laps. Again, these stints have not been longer than 10 laps apiece. So we got a lot of racing to go until we really solidify strategy here. Only 2 drivers on an alternate call, only one of which is still on the racetrack. That is Jake Miller. Miller, of course, had to go down due to an accident. He is 35th right now, and he's on a 5, now 6 lap run. A lot of time for him to make those spots up, but the damage is clear, and he's on a different tire call from the rest of the field. Lap number 21 out of 140. If we go green until lap 70, 75, or 80, that's the halfway point generally speaking, and a little beyond, it will be a one-stop strategy. Cody Smith keeping it steady for lap number 22. Andrew Hamilton is now going to be facing some big pressure. And you'll see all the way down to the inside, Thomas Bresci takes that dog leg, disappears, and comes back in front of the 16 car. Hamilton is now facing a little bit more pressure. Andrew Hamilton here, making his way through. With him, Michael Araya, Jared Davis, Braxton DeWeese cutting to the inside. Ronnie Osmer also watching and waiting here. But it looks like Hamilton drops out of the top 10 and is now in 13th place. A few laps to go, running in 7th, but it looks like already those tires burning out. Thomas, P8, the highest position he has been in all night long. Blake Gordon of the 13 car. Watch out for what he's due to do here, as he's coming up now on the 56 of Jack Drucker. Sebastian Miller, toe-to-toe with the 56 of Drucker. Blake to the inside. Nothing comes of it. Side by side now. Jack Drucker, let's see what happens here. Getting just ahead of Sebastian Miller on the inside. Blake Gordon also having to watch out. Thomas Bresci in all of these drivers' rearview mirrors. After Bresci, he could be able to cut the gap between he and Thunhorst from 5 positions down to 2. 8th place so far for the 24 of Bresci. Gets around this pack, he could be as close as 5th place to the driver of the 8 car. Thunhorst, 6.5 tenths of a second off your race leader. Ethan Lane has taken back the race lead. He's now 3.5 tenths up on Cody Smith. Smith to the inside, trying to cut more distance to get back by the dog leg. It was about 15/100ths of a second in, but Cody again will skate high, and you'll see those scrapes he's got from the outside wall. Looks like it hasn't really stopped him just yet, but still, he's got to position himself a lot better to take that race lead back, if that's his intention. Lane, 3 tenths up again. Ronnie Osmer in the 55 car looking to put a little bit more down on Andrew Hamilton. Osmer started the season wonderfully in the 55 team, but ever since then has fallen a little bit further off from where he began. He is now 14th in the championship standings, dropped down 3 places last week from 11th. He spent the opening 10 races top 10 in the championship standings. Now he finds himself, of course, a little bit closer getting up in the top 10 in this race. He just needs to get by Hamilton to do so. Top 10 for Osmer in his rookie year would be wonderful. Again, this is a driver who has that ARCA Menard Series testing experience, a real-world racer. He's done it before, and of course, he kicked off the series with a bang, a podium finish at Daytona. He's gotten himself a few solid top 10 runs ever since, but the consistency hasn't been there to the same degree. 3 top 10s and 2 top 5s. There are some drivers ahead of him who have practically the same numbers, all the way up to Jared Davis anyhow, but it looks like when it comes down to those secondary numbers, they just haven't been as strong. Nick Tarbuck now heading to the inside. There's the 29, making his move in through turns 1 and 2. Nick can't get the run off the corner, but Osmer slams the wall. Far from a gentle push. That was a rough slam out of 2. And whether or not it costs Ronnie on that corner, it's clear now. Tarbuck has his number. Watch out for Nick here to take the pass. Ronnie's going to try to keep on defending here, but I will be shocked if he got away from that one without incident or injury to that car. It looked like he somehow did. He slams the wall gently again, but either way, those rough position passes, of course, are going to be even rougher with damage. So we'll see whether or not Ronnie can do anything of it. The 55 car right now looks to be in good enough shape to defend, but Nick Tarbuck remains a spectator. 32 laps in out of 140 here. Coming up on only 100 laps to go, and while that might sound like many a lap, there's a lot of time. Well, I don't think that's really the case. These laps at Phoenix Raceway are fast. Even when tires begin to wear, not a lap run in this race under green will be over 30 seconds, with the exception of going down to pit road. Now, with that being said, it also means that these drivers are going to have to compartmentalize time fast. See a little bit more of an aggressive racing style. Double file has been common today. Sebastian Miller defending upon the Braxton Deweese car once again. Braxton watching behind. Here comes Jacob Fife. Fife to Lariah. This is the battle for 10th place. Advantage Lariah as he cuts to the inside of the dogleg again. 56 of Drucker getting away for 6th place. Now this is a rookie who's really having the night he needs. For Jack, the number 56 car is up inside the top 10 of the championship standings. Matter of fact, he's still running in 4th. A good night today over Nick Tarbuck could put him back in P3 and keep him in the top 3 of the championship standings. He won the opening race this season at Daytona, and ever since that point, he has not let up. He's only got a few drivers ahead of him here, and the one he's got to keep an eye on, it's far further back. So for Drucker, this could be a surefire way to get back in the championship podium. Braxton Deweese on his way. He's in 8th now and looking to get at it with Jacob Fife. He's gotten by Fife, as a matter of fact. Next stop would be Thomas Bresci. Fife side by side with Lariah even still. Watch out for 12th place Jared Davis. Davis looks low. Davis is inside the top 10 of the championship standings, and of all drivers who are in that top 10, he has the fewest top 10 race finishes, 7th in points with only 3 top 10s and 3 top 5s. 1 victory as well, but either way, it's been a go big or go home season for the Jared Davis team. He's got some great race finishes, and he's got a 33% win to top 5 rate, but he also has a 1-to-1 top 5 to top 10 rate. Now, in some cases, that's very good. If a driver is consistently getting up in the top 10 and they're always hitting the top 5, that's a surefire way to be top 5 in points. But Davis only has 3 of those good finishes, and yes, they all happen to be great finishes, but everything else is off the mark. Tricky to be that inconsistent, but so far he's gotten himself in the top 10 in the championship. I wouldn't concern myself too much if I was Davis in that regard. Here comes the 97 of Nicholas Ward. Ward sending himself in. Now again, Nicholas here is going to find himself pushing as a lapper. He is 17 down with younger rubber. He will not play a role in the leading race unless a miracle happens. Ward has been really hitting on all cylinders as of late. He's gotten himself now a total of 3 podiums across the racing that we've done in this series and the Octane series, and is looking like a better driver on a week-by-week basis. The Xfinity car, he said, has suited his style. He's got the notes to make it happen now. He's getting a company to it, and also he's gotten himself back to grips with the Next Gen, which helped him out in the great 2023 campaign, and he's already gotten to victory lane on Tuesday nights as well. For Ward, tonight might have to be a write-off, though. He will very likely finish in 35th place, and not really the best of places to finish here for Ward. And Nicholas is going to have to regroup on our next event if he wants any chance of going toward the playoffs. Nicholas is 17th in this championship, and by all accounts, if he finishes next to last, he will very likely fall further. Good to see him on the racetrack right now, and it looks like Josh Gallagher is also off the circuit. Only for a brief disconnection. He's back on the way, but as you can see, Ward coming up on the leaders. He's making it look easy. That's because his tires are about 25 laps younger. Ethan Lane now coming to his 42nd lap on this stint. We're looking to see a split stint strategy, maybe the easiest way to do a strategy call tonight, and it'll be led by the number 6 team. When you get Ethan Lane going, it is very hard to stop him, without a doubt. That's something that we saw last year. It is something we didn't see in 2023. He only ran about 3 races total in this league that year. But last year, when he got the gears clicking just right, he was able to go off for 14 Octane Series wins. He now has 20 in his career. That is the highest number any driver has hit. Across his Integrity Racing League ventures, he now has 23 wins in the modern era. That is the most of any one driver. And of course, that's a remarkable number given the fact that we've only run just over 100 races. Ethan Lane has won about 1 in 5 so far, and that's a driver who has not been full-time all throughout his sim racing career on Monday and Tuesday nights. Lane is a veteran driver, without a doubt. We've mentioned so many a time that he was qualified for the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, and he is a reserve driver in the highest level of oval sim racing in the world. That's right, besides from the regular, Ethan Lane is also a driver who has the credentials, if a driver's missing, to be pulled up to the top level of simulation racing. But you know what's different about the Integrity Racing League compared to the NASCAR stuff? These races, by all accounts, are very much on a consistent basis longer, and they provide more of a challenge by distance than almost any other series on the platform, especially on Tuesday nights. We go for 140 miles today, and that's one of our shortest races on the calendar, bar none. And of course, right now, with how these drivers are running, it might be a little bit shorter than that. Michael Orion in the 44, side by side with Seb Miller. He got by Jacob Fife after a brutal battle between those two. It didn't come to blows, but it took a long while to really settle out. Jacob Fife lying back. Jared Davis, Sebastian Miller right there, but they're all watching the 44, and it looks like right now it's all Araya as they head through for the final corners. What we know now as the front straightaway was the back straightaway, and vice versa. That difference has been established over the course of the past 15 years, and that's what we mean by the total flip of this racetrack. It's not at all the same style of Phoenix Raceway that we saw in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, but it instead has established itself as a different venue. On iRacing, it is officially labeled as such. As you might notice, this is the track with the modern LED fixtures and the new lighting. And with that being said, that is something that is not seen in the 2008 configuration on the platform. Blake Cannon on the wall there, a brief hit, and it looks like he's still on the way. Blake right now is in 5th. He's got himself, give or take, 2 seconds up on the next driver. That is Jack Drucker. Braxton DeWeese, 8th. Michael Orion, 9th. Sebastian Miller is in 10th. 7, that number 83 right now, as you can see, 10 seconds back on leader lane. So far, it's been a pretty solid day starting-wise for the Swamp, but Miller has been the only of those men to maintain it. DJ Stagner is now down in 18th. Ryan Potter has kept himself having a solid error-free day. Ryan is now in 15th. Not at all bad. Of course, it's great to see Ryan Potter making his moves, but it looks like currently the entire team being outclassed by the 83 car. Seb for lap number 51. He's coming through ahead of Jared Davis. Look at Davis drop down to the inside. A big move there for Jared. This could be for the top 10. He skates up the track. Fife looks low. They'll go 3 wide. Davis sees Fife on the apron. One's got to give. It'll be Jacob. Instead, with persistence, Sebastian Miller pushes on the high side to maintain his spot. Jared Davis, more of the same on the bottom. He'll clear aggressively on the 83. Nick Tarbuck waits in the wings and watches it all unfold. That textbook racing from Phoenix here, and again, we are expecting to see that pressure, that double file racing, if not more, all night long. We've seen it for the majority of the day, and even now, as we get to the longer stretch of our green flag pit stop cycle, it's still happening. That's the exciting part. It's even happening a little bit further back. That's Tyler Hensley with Ronnie Osmer. Hensley low in the number 5. Paul Mikolajczyk in the number 77 gets just ahead. Paul tonight struggling in qualifying and is looking to make his way up to the top 20, if not a little further. Don Stevenson more of the same, maybe not one of his best nights as he's now surrounded by some of the rookie talent we have, including McClendon, Osmer, and Mikolajczyk. Matthew Thunhorst, the number 8 car, well, as you can see here, 3rd place, waiting for the call for him to head down a pit road. Still, not a leader has done it. The only driver on the lead lap with newer rubber is Tyler Hensley. Hensley right now is on a 45-lap run. That is the newest of any driver up in front, and that's because he went down a pit road under caution. Everyone else, not so much. They decided to keep themselves on the racing circuit, and it looks like that original strategy will still play out. Tyler Hensley to the inside again on Brent McClendon. Casey Shue getting pressured by Steve Durham as well. And this is all the back of the field, mind you. These battles aren't just for the lead. As you can see, Ethan Lane is jetted out to a 2.5. Hunter Madalenas is in 4th. Cody Smith is far and away in 2nd. We'll see now if Thunhorst can maintain against the rookie. Last few laps, Thunhorst has been slightly slower. It's a game of 29, or rather 27 sevens versus 7 sixes. Madalenas is running a little bit higher. Hunter, of course, what a rookie he has been this season, perhaps the best of the rookie crop so far. While Jack Drucker has a victory and, of course, has been ahead of in the point standings all season long, Madalenas has a win as well, and not only that, he has got 3. He hasn't run every race this season. In fact, he has missed 3, but if you take the points averages, you take the points per race that Matt Alenis has accumulated, he would be the championship leader by a firm margin over any other. I'll tell you this much. What a driver that 07 is. Matt Alenis has burst onto the scene, and even though he might have not been a known name beforehand, every driver of the field knows now when that 07 comes around, it is a serious battle of the checkered flag. Braxton Deweese, still 8th here. He's getting caught up to by Michael Araya. Araya, your Octane Series champion last year, has been dealing with the challenge of making it happen in this series, and he's slowly but surely ascending the ranks. 166 points back on the rest of the field and 1 position up from last race. He's now 9th in the standings. Deweese fall down, of course, and has been falling down to 10th. Now these drivers are against each other directly. Deweese in the wall. This is the battle for 9th in the championship and 8th in the race. Deweese so far has had a recovery night, but he just briefly slammed the outside retainer, and it looks like that might cost him. Raya, though, wasn't really able to get that transition off well. You saw him get a little bit squirrely. He went side by side and then ended up rattling the car back and forth. Still toe-to-toe as they race down the back. Thomas Bressy's gotten away. For Bressy, it looks like still tonight he's going to be losing points to his teammate in Thunhorst if it plays out the way we're seeing right now. That's not a certainty, yes, of course, that could change, but right now, anyhow, it absolutely looks like Thomas Bressy is going to be playing second fiddle to the number 8 car. Jacob Pfeifen, Jared Davis. Fife going down to the apron. He's done it a few times now. Interesting that he is deliberately made that decision to go to the inside rather than being forced there. It's almost become a little bit of an extension of the racing groove for him. Usually you see that out of the dog leg. In the final corners, though, not quite. Interesting call from Jacob, but he's no stranger to doing something different. .61 laps in out of 140. Ryan Potter, 99 car coming up quickly on Rob Ackley. Ackley tonight is running his throwback paint scheme as he did last week. To the inside, Ryan Potter sends it deep. Potter's had a great race so far. Looks like now he's down to 17th and is trying to reclaim the 16th position from Ackley here. Top 15 looking to be a target for this 99 campaign, and DJ Stagner's falling a little bit further closer to that maybe than he'd expect. Stagner starting in the Super 6 in this race, as did Sebastian Miller, and it looks like now, while Miller is only just ahead, the Swamp guys have regressed down to the mid-teens, 13th, 14th, and 17th respectively, and it looks like officially 13th, 14th, and 16th now. DJ Stagner to the ceiling again, keeping Andrew Hamilton at bay. Sebastian Miller, 13th. And look at Nick Tarbuck, still going at it here, 12th. Looks like he's alone, and he's the big separator between packs number 1 and 2. The opening dozen are your leaders. Then, further back, you'll have, of course, everyone else. Dictating the pace and strategy tonight is Ethan Lane. Lane has pulled 3 seconds on Cody Smith, and while Smith was he was the guy getting the jumps off the line, and he did it twice, clearly and handedly beating Ethan Lane on every restart we've had so far. It looks like Ethan just has the long run pace, and that's the difference between someone like Cody Smith and Ethan Lane. And I think tonight, again, if it was anyone else going up against Smith, he would very likely be the victorious driver. But with Ethan Lane's race pace and long run extensions that he's done so consistently, there's almost nobody else who can do it the way that Lane does. We're coming fresh off, of course, our 300-mile races, and Lane very well could have swept those events. He showed great pace in both of which, and I'll tell you this much, tonight's a lot different. It's a sprint in comparison, less than half the distance, but long run counts just as much. You might remember that the Integrity Ignite Series had about 15 cautions in our 300-mile race. The Octane Series only had 2. and they went green for the first 188 laps, which consisted of about 270 miles. Up high's Lane, diamond arcing that corner, taking it up to the higher apex and running out of 2 with speed. Lane is in control. I mean, that is without a doubt. Everyone else here is just playing second fiddle to what he's done tonight. Thomas Bresci going at it with the lapper of Ronnie Osmer right now. Braxton Deweese is still ahead of Lariah. Even though he got up there in the wall, it looks like he's been able to escape, as a few other drivers have. Deweese, Lariah, Davis, 8, 9, 10. Currently finding themselves just out of the main frame. Of course, they're not within 10 seconds of the leader any longer, but they're still having a close battle here. Domination Intimidation Racing with 2 contending for the top 10 tonight. That is Deweese and Tarbuck. DIR sending multiple drivers to the field today. It looks like a notable absence in the 3 car of Michael Stroll. At least tonight, anyhow. The number 3 not coming out to play. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that AC Delco team as the season progresses. Of course, we're just returning from a break, and that might explain the minor dip in attendance. Still, again, we have 36 drivers with us, and we have been averaging over 40 on a race-by-race basis. And that is a testament to the level of competition and the level of commitment that we see in this field so frequently. Life. And with Davis here, advantage is still Jared, as the sim motion number 36 goes high. Coming to our halfway point and beyond. Ethan Lane is going to make it clear the second half of this race is here. 70 laps remaining. So the magic number has been hit, and this is what that means. We can go the rest of this race on one more pit stop. Anyone can go down and in, and when they do so, they'll be able to go the rest of the race without worrying about their fuel or tire number. The magic number usually is the halfway point of a race like this, and since it's not that long of a race, well, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. 69 laps to go, everyone positioning themselves just right to go as long as they need. And so it looks like right now, that's not going to be a problem for Lane nor anyone else. Here's what I'm thinking here. If you're Lane, you can go in whenever. Maybe going as long as possible is the right way to go about it. Stretching to make sure you extend that distance, then cutting and going at it again. That might be the most successful route, only to get more pace out of the car. But as you can see, Fife, Deweese, Tarbuck coming in, as does the 47 of Don Stevenson. The magic number has been hit, and that means now that any driver can head down a pit road at their discretion. That's what's going on as we speak. Matthew Thunhorse has decided to make his move in as well. Take a look at that pit stint timer. We're pulling it up on the left side of your screen here. It shows when a driver last went to pit road. If they last went to pit road at lap 0, it means that they haven't been to pit road since the beginning of this race. And Hunter Madalenas is still out there, as is Cody Smith, as is Ethan Lane. Adam Wood, Brent McClendon, Matthew Thunhorst, Michael Araya, early exceptions, but right now, Lane and company up front. They're going strong, and they're going to try to keep it out there. And Lane going toward that apron, and it looks like this time by, he's looking ready to go to pit road as the yellow flag flies. Caution is out. During a green flag cycle, we've got trouble on the racetrack. Caution is called. Take a look at this as we got an issue on the racing circuit. Oh, Brian McFerrin. It was Brian McFerrin in the 7. So, right at our halfway point, we've got a yellow. Take a look at this. 7-car Brian McFerrin here was battling with Steve Durham. This was for around the 25th position at the time of the yellow. McFerrin goes low. Hamilton is a lot quicker here. Oh, McFerrin up into Durham. Yellow flag is out. Brian McFerrin, and you see him sent up there. 21 car of Steve Durham also catching a piece. Brian having to wait a long while. Looks like now he's down to pit road, as is just about everyone else. Tell you what, Ethan Lane, what a lucky driver. He was just about to go into pit road, and if he did that, he might have been trapped one lap down. Now the field is going to race off pit road at our halfway pit stop. This is the magic number stop regardless. This is very likely the last time drivers go in, as Lane beats Matt Delenis, beats Nicholas Ward, beats Blake Gordon, then Jared Davis, Andrew Schaub, Elliott Henderson, Gavin Fitzgerald, DJ Stagner, Justin Morton, and Cody Smith is with a prolonged pit stop. I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like he just got off the racetrack. Smith now back on the way. Looks like just a minor connection blip there. The 18 is all good and getting up to the field, as Ethan Lane is going to be your race leader. Steve Durham, 21 car, is overall your race leader here, but he's on his original stint. Not going to last the way he's going at it. .63 laps to go. It's going to be 2 laps to green now, so we'll head back at it at lap 80 on the dot. Halfway yellow, number 2 of the day. The Integrity Ignite Series has been going through this race very fast, no doubt about it. 63 laps remaining here. We are more than halfway in to what has been an exciting feature so far. 07 Hunter Madalenis may be getting his best shot to go toe-to-toe with the man in Ethan Lane. But I'll tell you this much, Ethan Lane looks indomitable, and there appears to be no stopping him. Cody Smith might have been the best bet so far. We know him as the Phoenix Ace. Now, with 1 lap to green, we'll see if the 07 can shut down the main man, Toyota Supra. Elliott Henderson, Gavin Fitzgerald, DJ Stagner, Justin Morton, Paul Mikulicek, DJ Stagner, and Tyler Hensley making up the final drivers in the top 10. Heading back to green. Amid a race of gentle pushes to the outside wall and feisty pit stop strategy, at the halfway marker exactly, we see a caution. Now's a chance to figure out whether or not Ethan Lane's first half pace was a fluke, or if he is now here to stay. The 6 cars on the inside and gets the rocket launch off exit. Here we go again for restart number 2. Through the dog leg, it's a no-doubter. Ethan Lane has a car length. Lane's got it ahead of Madalenis. We're back on the way. Rob Ackley side by side with Gavin Fitzgerald. Cautions out again. It's the 3rd time tonight. Andrew Schaub is involved. That is the 86. In the middle of the field, he got on the wall here, scraped it 3 wide almost with Stevenson and Brent McClendon. And contact. Getting in it with Casey Shue, turned around, and the yellow's out. Andrew Schaub for the 360 with 60 laps to go. Not the most brutal of hits, but he'll tow it immediately and get off the racing circuit. Gonna get himself some damage repairs as Mikulicek, Casey Shue, and Ronnie Osmer go to pit road. Ethan Lane remains out and ahead. Hunter Madalenis More of the same here, as you can see. He'll head up high. Top 10 remains just about identical here. Kyle Cooper getting up to the 11th place. Not bad at all now for the 73 in this Chevrolet Camaro. Wrong. Kyle Cooper has a way. He really does have a way about him when it comes to getting in these top 10 situations in the most unexpected fashion. And Kyle hasn't been the fastest driver today. That doesn't really go without saying. However, qualifying speed for Kyle Cooper is never indicative of where he's going to end up. He is 27th to 11th right now, one of the biggest movers on the day. He has gained 16 positions. Do not count him out. Matter of fact, we might still be overlooking him in the grand scheme of things here. We're running out of time, and for the 73 team, I think that's to their advantage. Kyle, always a driver who's going to benefit from having these late race circumstances play his way. He doesn't have to care all too much about how little time we have. It's just about executing from the moment he gets there. 30th in the championship standings with 12 races run. Kyle has not yet been really able to put together a good finish just yet. No top 10s, top 5s, nor wins so far for a veteran driver who shown with evidence he's got the capability of a little bit more. He's 11th right now and is on the verge of his best finish of the year. We'll see if he can close it out in the next coming 57. Pace car to pit road. Double file. Getting back in business. Ethan Lane was able to get that rocket launch last time by. Yeah, it's more of the same here. Restart number 3. Lane uncontested, but they're triple wide right behind. Look now as Thomas Brescia escapes the Hornet's nest. Miller with a 4-wide move. Braxton Louise, Jacob Fife, Cody Smith, all going at each other fiercely. Smith has to give. Braxton Louise goes outside. Ronnie Osmer down low with new rubber. Luis is in the wall, ever so slightly. 3 wide, even still. And talk about a contentious jump off the line. Every driver there is trying to make their spot. Somebody's got to give in a battle like that. And there's a lot of somebodies when so many are side by side. Can't expect to win them all. You can't expect to always battle so fiercely, and that sometimes is the lesson that has to be learned. Luckily, that time around didn't come with much an issue. Hunter Madalenas to the inside now on Blake Gordon. Elliott Henderson in the 37 car, going low himself. Elliott up to 5th place. If he is to finish the night out like this, that would be his best race of the season, without a doubt. Of course, Elliott has shown himself to have top 5 pace in passing, but has not yet been able to really pull it together. So many times we criticize drivers or we talk about the lack of late race execution, and never do we say that to inherently fault the driver. It is just so challenging to get up here and finish up front so consistently. Even to do it once for many a driver is a challenge. Henderson right now doesn't really find himself in the upper ranks of the championship. He has been a part-time driver so far, hasn't been going at it actively for the championship, but Elliott right now is 27th of the championship picture, 11 races counted to this point. So far, when we talk about Elliott, well, he's in a similar boat to Kyle Cooper, only that so far, he does have 2 top 10s to bank off of. So he does have some of those better positions to work through to show that he's done it this year. Now, it looks like he might be going for his best finish of the year as well. Hunter Madalenas in P3. Blake Gordon up to 2nd. That's the highest spot that Blake has taken all night. Endeavor Racing Car. starting in 16th place, up 14, and he is hard charging. But Hunter Madalenis is looking to charge right back and take a spot from the 13. What now can Hunter do as Jared Davis is also on looking? The battle for the podium now comes down to 3 drivers for 2 spots. All the while, Ethan Lane has picked up another 7/10 of a second, and he looks to be checked out. On a night like this, where Ethan Lane is in his groove, you really cannot stop him. The only way you're going to get to Lane is if he doesn't get that pole position. Again, he has 3 wins off 3 poles so far. This would make it 4 wins off 4 poles. So when you think about it in that respect, when he gets up front and he starts up front, it's very hard to stop him. It's almost impossible, in fact, because the clean air means he really doesn't have to worry himself about anyone else. And that's the biggest advantage the track position can give you. If you're confident with your ability up in front and you get that pole position, it's going to take a lot for the field to stop you. Cody Smith, of course, was able to qualify right beside him and get ahead to begin with, but Smith's race has been mediocre ever since. He runs in 18th, and it looks like maybe tonight not the way he would have envisioned it. Jared Davis for 3rd, just ahead of Hunter Madalenis with 49 laps to go. Lane coming across the line again for another 48, and he's slowly but surely winding this one down as we're almost 100 laps in. Single file all the way up front. You'll then see a few others, Nicholas Ward, for instance, going side by side here. Nick Tarbuck also. Tarbuck going at it with the former Big 3 member that he was also with, and Michael Araya, Brant McClendon, Don Stevenson. Flapper Steve Durham looks to the inside of the 47 car, and it looks like it could be a simple pass because of the tire deficit. Jared Davis goes deep into that dogleg there. Now we're going to the final lull period of the race before we get to that ending point. Drivers now figuring out what's the game plan to get to the immediate end. Tires and fuel are not the concern in terms of having them till the end. Now it becomes the goal of preserving them and making them the best they can for the final stretch here, because we still anticipate to see a 50-plus lap stint if these drivers stay under green. Ethan Lane, 18 laps in that number 6 car, I'll tell you this much, he seems to understand the long-run game better than anyone else. But the best part is that every driver got a chance to go from about lap 10 to halfway, so they got the practice and experience necessary to go almost the exact same distance that we're going to go now. With that in mind, learning's been the key, and you're seeing some drivers take big advantage. Always love to see Tyler Hensley up here. JTM Motorsport driver, but he's a little bit more of an underdog than his 2 title contending teammates, coming back after that full year hiatus. When Hensley gets those finishes together, I think you're going to see him up in the top 15 of the points. He is 26th right now, but I will say that by the end of the year, if he keeps running the way he's been running for the past few weeks, Tyler Hensley is a bona fide top 15 driver in this series, and that's more impressive when you think about the fact he missed 30 races in a row in this league's history. 30 consecutive. He took practically the entire year off, was part-time in 2023, and has come back, and he looks somehow quicker than what he was in our inaugural season with the Ignite Series. We've gotten quite a few flashes of Tyler's potential in the past few weeks. If he capitalizes on it from here on out, he is going to be up there, and he's going to be a top 10 guy to look out for maybe next year. A driver who could be on the rise to keep up with that rapid-fire JTM program, although they haven't been firing on all cylinders tonight. If you look at the numbers, Tyler is actually leading the team. His teammates, who are 1st and 2nd in the championship, run 11th in Matthew Thunhorst and 13th in Thomas Bresci. So the returning man is ahead of the 2 title favorites right now, and Jacob Fife might just get one on the 24. Fife couldn't get there that time by. Cody Smith bobbling back and forth in the closer battle just behind with Michael Araya. Jack Drucker a little bit loose, but he'll keep it together. Michael Araya goes up high. Side by side at the stripe again. Coming to 40 laps to go this time by, Ethan Lane is on cruise control. How about we take a look and a listen as to what's going on inside the cockpit of the number 6. Let's take a lap on board with the man who has been in full control all night long. Here's a lap with Ethan Lane. At the line, I mean, Ethan Lane has just been where he needs to be every lap, hitting his marks. That's the Centurion mark, lap 100. 39 laps to go. Blake Gordon, the 13 car, he's a second and a half behind now. In the 13, of course, he has been on the move. 16th place for Endeavor Racing to start. P2 would be a great way to cap the night off. We did say that Gordon sometimes struggles in races similar to those at Phoenix or at other tricky races with tire strategy, but so far anyhow, he has certainly proved us wrong, of course, wrong outright. Blake Gordon, driver to look out for if you can put these smaller track races together. Caution's out 4th time tonight. It looks like Jack Drucker was involved. He was looking antsy before the caution, and it looks like that really did fruition. Contact, Andrew Hamilton. 56 drifts up the track. And unfortunately, that's a safety yellow because he comes down. Oh, it slides up. Gallagher. Josh Gallagher, I don't know if he made contact or not. Watch this. Take a ride on board with the 96 car, because if he did a hell of a job avoiding a far out of control 56 and Drucker. Unfortunately, left side contact. Could have been a lot harder. Gallagher made the move up high when Drucker was shifting low. Then Jack went the other way. That sort of flip-flop hatches some drivers out. Unfortunately, Josh was on the wrong side of that one. .36 to go, everyone's coming in. And it's pretty clear now that even though it's not a mandatory stop per se, it is the insurance stop. Ronnie Osmer is going to beat everyone off of pit road. Then it's going to be Lane, Gordon, Elliot Henderson, and Hunter Madalenas, with Gavin Fitzgerald, Rob Ackley, Tyler Hensley, Cody Smith, and Jared Davis, your top 10. We'll head back to green with about 34 laps remaining, but until then, we'll give you a message from our friends at iRacing.com. iRacing Motorsport Simulations provides the most realistic virtual racing platform in the world, not only for stock car racing action, but also for Indycar, Formula One, World of Outlaws, IMSA, and the World Endurance Championship. From the classics of the 1960s and 70s to contemporary racing today, iRacing has you covered. Start your sim racing journey today at iRacing.com and find out a little bit more information about how you can make the leap to simulation racing. Now, we don't have enough time for the video ad, so we're just going to get back to work here. 34 laps to go. Thank you again to iRacing.com for their continued support. Let's get back to business and close this race out with a bang. Osmer's got the inside on a 2-tire strategy. Spent 9.4 seconds in the box, 5 seconds less than any other driver. That's what gets him the lead. Ronnie's on the bottom. Every driver has done a remarkable job using the low groove on the restart. Ethan Lane takes second. Highly likely, though, we're going to see the 2 tires be the most important part of this race, whether they work for good or bad. Ronnie Osmer gets the car length he needs. He'll take it through the dog leg. Restart number 4. Cannon is going to be coming through. And a Cannon and Blake Gordon, that is, as the Blake and Ethan rivalry continues. Just instead of the 27, it's the 13. Watch this. So far, it looks like another caution is going to bring the field to another standstill. Yellow flag is out. Paul Mikolajczyk in the wall. 33 laps to go. Contact from Andrew Hamilton. Believe that's the 3rd incident the 16 has been involved in. Fortunately, that's going to send the 77 up the track. Fed right down and into the wall. Paul Mikolajczyk for your 5th caution. He'll go to pit road, as does Casey Shue, Jack Drucker, and Don Stevenson. Field at a standstill. We got a little bit of time once again, so this time around we'll bring you our iRacing promotional video. Thank you again, iRacing.com. The summer sales are coming up. We at FTN, we get that first-hand notification, and we'll tell you exactly what the promo codes are to get the best deals on registering with the world's most advanced racing sim. 17 plus years in the making, iRacing.com. Check them out after tonight's broadcast, and we'll return after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
.30 laps remain. Looks like a little bit of a bump in the road. We had that at our midway point. Now we're getting ready to settle it. 30 laps of our 140 lap feature will determine who gets the job done. Ronnie Osmer again has control on the inside groove. It's outside for Ethan Lane, Elliott Henderson, and Blake Gordon. Watch on row 2. Here we go again. Osmer gets it going out of turn number 4. We're back in business. Osmer to the bottom, and he'll take it very low to the dog leg to get away. Ronnie gets exactly what he needed there off the jump. Now the question becomes, how long is he going to have it? I mean, 29 laps to go. He's on a 2-tire strategy. The only thing I can think of that's really going to save Osmer is the unlikely that we have multiple cautions in succession. Well, you know, someone who knows very much about that is the man who's right behind him, Ethan Lane, who raced the Milwaukee Mile on the road to Pro Tour last year. He ended up seeing 40-plus consecutive laps of cautions and ended up beating Brian Mercurio on an avant-garde strategy call, which nobody saw coming as the winning deal. Mercurio ended up winning at Watkins Glen that season, but it was Lane in Milwaukee that solidified his bid for the Coke Series. Now, it looks like he's in that opposite position of having to chase and play hard to get with the traditional strategy. See here, he's gotten away from almost everyone. Cody Smith in the Next Level Racing 18 is now inside the top 10. Take a look at that. 7th place for Cody Smith. So for Cody Smith, a night that almost looked to be going astray, well, he's really close to Rob Ackley there. Now, it looks like he's got a chance to recoup, and maybe keep improving to the inside on Gavin Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is going to let him have it low, but won't let him take the position, so Cody takes to the dogleg. 26 laps to go, and Elliott Henderson also has to watch. The Henderson car in the 37, side by side with Fitzgerald, Cody Smith with Rob Ackley. And you would see here, 2 by 2, but then it becomes Ethan Lane, who's now just ahead of Ronnie Osmer. They go side by side through the dogleg. Osmer can't come up, and the 6 is back in front. Ethan Lane to the points. 25 laps to go, and the inevitable has occurred. Lane has taken his 4-tired number 6 ahead of the 2-tire call from Ronnie Osmer. 25 laps to go now on the field, and Ethan Lane is sitting pretty. Caution's out. Involved at the back of the field, it appears to be Kyle Cooper. And that it is. Taking a look back, 30 seconds as Cooper's involved in caution number 6 on the day. He got loose, and this was a multi-car incident, and it developed over the course of several corners, it appears. Take a look at this. I mean, it was contentious to begin with. I mean, these guys were close. Then you have Cooper into Davis, and Davis back into Cooper. Then Nick Tarbuck tries to avoid. He hits the back end of the 19. DeWeese checks up, hits Lariah. Morton into Durham into Lariah. Jared Davis almost hits Thomas Bressie. Bressie gets lucky. Cooper spins, and Braxton DeWeese slams the outside wall, as does Morton. 19 goes for another successive 360. Up high. Luckily wasn't hit by anyone on the way out, but Jared Davis was pretty close to that happening. "23 laps to go. Lariah, Davis, Miller, and Justin Morton all down to pit road. All the while, it is Ethan Lane with the race lead again, back to the points. Going to be 22 laps to go this time by. As always, with 22 laps remaining, we'd like to thank our partners at Whiplash SimCams for providing our cameras for tonight's broadcast and for working with us for 2025 and beyond. Broadcasters of any level, indulge yourself in iRacing's best TV-accurate camera equipment for free. Visit the Whiplash SimCams Discord server for trial camera packs free of licensing costs. Every pack costs $5 per car or track, and it is yours to keep. Visit Whiplash SimCams on social media today to find out more. We'd like to thank Pit Stop TV for welcoming us to the Whiplash SimCams family. And now, with just under 22 laps to go, we're going to crank it up from Avondale, Arizona. This is the Phoenix Raceway, and this is Ethan Lane's time to break away and get the job done. Final stretches ahead of us here from Phoenix as we go green once again. Let's crank it up with 22 laps to go. Lane through the dogleg brings them loud and proud. Caution's out. You saw them bobbling. That was Elliott Henderson and Rob Ackley in the wall. Yellow flag flies. So a fast yellow is going to bring to an end our Crank It Up segment for today. Let's see what happened. Henderson beaten up on the front end now, and it looks like, while not race ending, don't think it's going to do him any favors. He was up high, and Rob Ackley was there too. Again, these were guys inside the top 10. Henderson, contact with Ackley. That's what caused it. And this was at the front of the field, mind you, and that's what makes it so tricky. The 37 car, catching it up top, and then they began to slam. Elliott up high, Ackley right with. They don't catch anyone else, but they sure do destroy each other. 20 to go. We will have at most 17 laps remaining when we go green. Few drivers heading down to pit road. See right now, Cal Filarski, one of which. Otherwise, rest of the field put together well. Jared Davis on the way out of pit road. That pit exit, solid for the 19 car as it is for Steve Durham here. Looks like we're going to have about 27 drivers on the field. Two by two now, 18 laps to go. '17 when we go green, and it's Hunter Madalenas against Ethan Lane, perhaps the power matchup of the night. And two drivers who have big momentum coming into this post-Memorial Day run of the season. Ethan Lane is looking to further himself in the championship picture after gaining 6 places off a win last week. To the inside is Lane, outside Hunter Madalenas. 17 to go this time by. Here we go. Ethan Lane gets it going with a jump start on the field and back in business for the final stretch. Madalenas already a car length back. Ethan's got the stretch he needs down the front straightaway and through the back as well. If he can only just hang on and keep hitting those marks, it's almost a guaranteed checkered flag. Watch back. Jacob Fife side by side with Matthew Thunhorst. This now is going to be for position number 6. Thunhorst is again ahead of his teammate in Thomas Bressi and Tyler Hensley. Hensley right now is hanging on in 10th and might be going for P9. Take a ride on board with Thomas Bressi, Berlifi, and you'll see what's going on just ahead. A little bit of clouding of smoke, another shove off the outside wall, but nothing crazy. Hunter Madalenas trying to get there with Ethan Lane, no dice yet, and you'll see drivers moving up to the higher side, something we haven't seen all night. .15 laps to go. The Monster Energy Toyota Supra holds itself firmly at the head of the field, and Ethan Lane is now perhaps on the verge for that 4th win of the season. And if he does get this victory, for a driver who seemed to be far out of the championship standings just 2 months ago, he's making a convincing case that the Monday night title may be his. Lane is coming into the day 165 points back on Thomas Bressi. So tonight, his ceiling would really only to be getting up to about 5th in the championship picture, which is 50 points ahead of where he is right now. I don't think he's going to go any further for the time being. Nevertheless, Lane, he is trying to stretch it at every which way and make the most of each and every race. He's led the most laps on the day by far. Of course, he started up in front, grabbing the pole position, and a victory would only add even more points to what's already been an exciting day for the 6th crew up ahead of the field. A dozen to do it. Madalenis is a half-second behind. DJ Stagner is going at it with number 5 of Tyler Hensley. Hensley is now scored in the 8th position. And it looks like Tyler might be able to get up there and keep the top 10, although DJ goes to his inside. And now you got the swap. 64 and the 83 working together. DJ cuts low. That time by Hensley scored 9th here. Miller 10th, Bressi in 11th. Coming to 10 laps to go this time around. Casey Shue. Of all the drivers tonight, one who was involved in multiple incidents, it's quite a shock that Casey now has an outside chance at a top 10. Casey goes high now on Bressi. Can't quite get there. But Casey Shue has made this road to recovery a long and arduous one, yes. But it looks like now it may be feasible to go from 24th to 10th and beyond. Casey already up 12 places. It dropped down to being up 11 after Jared Davis gets by. Nevertheless, still a big mover as we come to the single digits in this race. 9 laps to go. Ethan Lane out and ahead. How about that for the 6 team? Lane, Madalenis, Osmer, Fitzgerald, and Blake Gordon. That's the way they roll in this top 5. Blake Gordon the last of which, and it looks like Ronnie Osmer's been able to work this strategy out to a T. This is the night he needs to get back in the top 10 of the championship fight. He's a second off of leader Lane, but moreover, he is now just about 7/10 up on Fitzgerald. And it looks like he might be able to keep himself there till the finish. Eight laps to go. Sebastian Miller in the 83 car now facing it from Casey Shue. Thomas Bressi getting himself ahead of the 83. That could mean now that it's Tyler Hensley or Jared Davis to face the pressure for the top 10. They hold the keys to get in. Davis is now trying to move ahead of Hensley for 10th place. That's where it would push Tyler back to. Jared is going to slide in and take 9th. So it'll go down to the 2 JTM teammates with 6 laps remaining to determine who is the final man in the top 10. And the Exalta Chevrolets, both of which are now at odds against each other. The direct comparison between Hensley and Bressi today hasn't been made all night, but it looks like in the most important moment, it will happen. All the while, Matthew Thunhorst is still 7th, and it looks like he'll slightly cut that championship deficit if he just stays ahead. He's looking for the final spots he can gain, which would be on Gordon and or on the DJ Stagner team, 64. Stagner looks a little bit more comfortable in making moves on the up and up, but Blake Gordon has slightly dropped down. Watch out now for the 8 team to set it up, because Thunhorst can make that move and get up to 6th. It's going to be a very tight championship race into our next event in only a week's time. Bressi still has not gotten there on his teammate in Hensley. Next week on the schedule, to be abundantly clear, is going to be another thriller as we go to the Nashville Superspeedway. We're going there tomorrow with the Ignite series, of course. Waiting till next week, the Octane guys will get their first taste before anyone else. Now, Don Stevenson going right through on Thomas Bressi. Can't make it work. Don drops back fast. 3 laps to go. Jay Stagner up to 4th. Matthew Thunhorst right now getting pressured by Jared Davis. Coming to 2 laps remaining for Ethan Lane. Lane is now going to lead the series outright in wins, and he's doing it off the back of 4 pole positions. For every win that he has a pole, and vice versa. Currently, 3 drivers have 3 wins so far on the calendar, and none of which have gone for a 4th. Matt Alenis could have been the one tonight, but he will be a second and a half behind as Ethan Lane takes it to the white flag. 1 lap to go now for Lane in the 6th team as he seeks his 21st Ignite Series and Octane Series win combined. A 20-time winner on the Tuesday night tour, still making a name for himself on the first weekday of this series. Now, Ethan Lane, after dominating and leading over 100 laps, he's going to add Phoenix to the many a track he's won in this league. Checkered flags out. Ethan Lane wins the LED Cactus 140, and there was no competition from beginning to end. Thunhorst is passed by Davis. Hensley maintains a top 10. Fife gets ahead of Thomas Bressie at the line. It is Ethan's 4th this season, and now he's got a fight, a real fight at that, to go not only to the top 5 in points, but maybe to go top 3 and beyond. To burn it down, Ethan Lane, under the lights of the desert, looking to celebrate. Lane collects victory in what was overall a very solid race for the field. 5 cautions on the day and a few sprinkled at the later end, but overall, mostly clean, mostly based on that natural strategy as we come to a close in Phoenix. We'll get a word now from your top 3 drivers as Ethan Lane leads 110 laps on the night on the dot. Then you'll have 2nd place Hunter Madalenis, 3rd place Ronnie Osmer, and DJ Stagner coming through for P4. 5th place is Gavin Fitzgerald, and Blake Gordon is 6th. Jared Davis is going to be P7, and Matthew Thunhorst is 8th. Tyler Hensley 9th, and Jacob Fife concludes the top 10. 11th place on the day. Immediately thereafter, that's the man in the 24, Thomas Bressie. 12th place goes Seb Miller. 13th is Michael Araya, and 14th is Jack Drucker, with Casey Shue 15th, Brent McClendon 16th, and Kyle Cooper 17th. It's going to be then Don Stevenson, Andrew Hamilton, and Rob Ackley rounding out the top 20 with 21st place. Just after that, from Ackley, it's Steve Durham in the 21. Josh Gallagher finishes in 22nd. Cody Smith goes 23rd, leading 20 laps on the day. Only 3 drivers led any laps. Osmer with 10, Smith with 20, Lane with 110. Then 24th and Justin Morton, 25th and Braxton DeWeese, and Elliott Henderson 26th, with Brandon Bernhardt, Adam Wood, Willis Ward, and Nick Tarbuck making up the final drivers in the top 30. 30th and further back include Paul Mikolajczyk, Andrew Schaub, Ryan Potter, Brian McFerrin, Cal Filarski, and Jake Miller. 36th and last of those on the field tonight. Phoenix Raceway has proven many a time before to be an exciting circuit, and for Ethan Lane, well, I'm not sure if he was excited tonight or if he was just tapped in. Cruise control. The 6th team did it all tonight and wins, of course, with little competition. 110 laps on the day from beginning to end, grabbing the pole position as if that wasn't enough, leading the most laps on the night. Victory Lane, Ethan Lane, your 4th win on the season, and you're really really quickly making a very serious fight for top 5 in points. Ethan Lane, number 16, we have a copy. Checking in once again, Ethan Lane, do you have a read? And not getting anything from the 6 team. We'll work on that right now. Lane is in the broadcast booth with us, but it just doesn't look like everything is clicking. One more time now. Ethan Lane, you hear us? And it looks like just a display malfunction there for the Lane team of number 6. So everything's good on our side. Lane will be there momentarily, and we'll give it a second. Nevertheless, Ethan Lane, your race winner, and it is a 110-lap lead day for the 6 crew. Outright the quickest, and the one thing is, I think he got very lucky. When you looked at that strategy call he made, he was going down a pit road on lap number 66 and thereabouts when that caution came out. I'll tell you this much. If he went down and into pit road under yellow, game over, without a doubt. He would have been sent to the back of the field, and that most likely would have meant that while he would have a chance to go down to pit road again, he would not have been at the front of the field. He made the right decision in just waiting it out, and now it looks like, as we've waited it out, Ethan Lane is ready for us again. It's win number 4 on the season, and a rapid climb to the top of the board. 2 races ago, you were 14th in points, Ethan. It looks like after tonight, you might just be as high as 5th with another big win.
Yeah, that was fun from get-go, from practice qualifying to race. Didn't know how the setup was going to do on long runs, but it turned out to be to my favor with it swinging loose late in the run. Really allowed me to actually drive the car how I wanted to and pull away there before that first yellow. Props to everyone. It was fun up until probably like lap 101, I think it was, where we had a rash of cautions, but we ended it nice and clean and green. So yeah, no, fun race for sure.
Began, of course, with that qualifying performance, putting yourself at the top of the board, and it looks like when it came down to just keeping clean air, that was the difference maker. How important do you think it was having it out in front from the beginning compared to driving your way through?
I'm not sure. I felt like with the pace we had, probably could have driven through the field. Just we were able to like just drive off the right rear like I wanted to, and like I know how to. So I felt like we probably could have gotten through the field, but clean air was definitely big. I think going later into some of these races down the line, it'll be even bigger. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, I don't think clean air was that big of a deal. We were able to get past Ronnie there, but before that final caution came out. So,
and perhaps the most important moment of the night, strategy-wise, you were just about to come down a pit road when our halfway caution came out, and the early 70s laps there. Now, pit stop strategy, we didn't need any more than one stop tonight. We got a few in the second part of the race. Did that at all impact your approach?
not really. I always know at these racetracks where if you go a lap down during green flag stops, you wait it out, especially with the pace we had. I was hoping we'd go green for the entire race, just to see what type of lead we could build up, but didn't happen. And it was just all about maintaining, like at least that first or second row. I think if we lost any more than that, it would have been a lot harder to get back to the lead.
And with this 4th win in your back pocket, we're heading next to Nashville Superspeedway. That's the halfway point of the year. It looks like pretty firmly now going to be in that playoff picture, but the regular season championship might not be out of question. What's your approach now as we head toward our final 5 races of the regular season and move toward the playoffs?
Yeah, no, it's going to be important if we can scratch and claw our way up there. It's only going to get tougher from here. Just got to have solid finishes. hopefully pull out a couple more wins, fast laps, and all that. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if it's in reaching distance, we'll definitely try to go for it.
Ethan Lane, 110 laps led and nearly flag-to-flag dominance from the Phoenix Raceway. Any final comments or shout-outs you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, just you putting on these broadcasts every week. Everyone over at Integrity. Fun race tonight. So we look forward to Nashville, one of my other favorite racetracks. Hopefully, I don't know the weather, but hopefully it's hot and slick and we can do a little bit more slipping and sliding.
Ethan Lane gets the job done in the LED Cactus 140, no doubt from beginning to end. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
With Ethan on the move, it looks like slowly but surely we're seeing this combination now a few times in a row. Over the past 3 races, it's been Ethan Lane and Hunter Madalenas taking those top steps to the podium in flip-flop orders. Today, Hunter, you find yourself in second place, and it looks like just getting up into the second was the challenge at the end, and you made it stick.
Yeah, man, that was such a difficult race. Ethan was so fast. Yeah, spent most of the race running a conservative tire save strategy, and that worked out. You know, when we got towards the green flag pit stops around lap 70, I felt like I was maybe the fastest or second fastest guy on the racetrack, so I knew it was good. And then we had that caution that came out just before I came onto pit road, and the rest of that race kind of switched hands from being a saving race to, you know, actually having to use tires. And on the first leg, I felt like I was off. Davis and Gordon both got around me and both seemed faster than me. And, you know, I couldn't figure out how to run it aggressively. But, you know, after we came down for that second time with the tires, I definitely figured it out and was able to drive up to second.
Making the move, of course, you mentioned tonight, qualifying 8th, a few cautions in between, splitting up the strategy, and especially in those late restart moments, looked a lot more potent to getting things done. We had about a final 20-lap sprint to put it through to the checkered flag. How important was it for you to get those restarts going, as it looks like tonight, those final jumps made all the difference?
Yeah, I've always, you know, necessarily been good at timing restarts when it comes to restarting second, third, anything like that. Yeah, I think it was just doing what I could on restarts to get up, and you know, when it came down to me clearing Ronnie and to sit behind Ethan and kind of see what he was doing, run what he was running, and then every restart able to just keep that up, so keep everyone behind me. I think was just good at the end of the day. Keeping track position was the main thing here late in the race. It was pretty difficult to pass once tires got heated up or went through a couple cycles.
Now, running this entire race, of course, nighttime condition. We've seen a little bit of a change compared to what we've seen day-to-night races as of late, full-time day. You think there was any conditional difference that made an impact, or it just come down to timing?
You know, it seemed like tires didn't matter as much as if it was like maybe in the day when the track state was a little bit hotter. Yeah, it was a challenge overall. You know, you have to race it completely different when it's day to night. So learning as the track constantly got cooler, you had to, you know, run more aggressive as it kept going, and it kept getting tighter as the night went on. So downshifting was a big thing to help the car rotate through corners, and you had to be on that right balance to burn that right rear enough that it would let the car rotate.
Another solid finish for the 07 program now, and really strengthening that campaign as we look toward the final races of the regular season. Perhaps the most important here, Hunter. Next up on the calendar, we're going to be heading down to the Nashville Superspeedway. How confident are you now in keeping that pressure hot for the drivers ahead of you in points? You came into the day 5th, and you got yourself, I believe, up to 4th at the very minimum from today.
Yeah, yeah, I love Nashville. Nashville's another one of those tracks that it's a high tire wear track, so I know at the end of the day I should be really, really good when it comes down to it. But I'm excited for these next couple of races coming up. I know we can have good runs in every single one of them. I just got to slowly eat down these points. I think we got 7 races after tonight, so just have to take down points slowly, and at the end of the regular season, hopefully I'm right up there with Thomas.
Picking apart these final races and making the most of them, Hunter. Second place from Phoenix. Anything else you'd like to say? The floor is yours.
Yeah, just thanks to you putting on these broadcasts. Love going back and watching them. Thanks to everyone in this league. Racing again tonight was incredible. We had a couple cautions here and there, but overall up front, I think we all raced each other clean and hard. And everybody watching, shout out to my girlfriend. It's her birthday today, but we're just going to go on next week and hopefully be one position better.
Close again to victory lane. Hunter Madalenas taking a podium finish from Arizona. Thank you again for stopping by.
Thank you, David.
Ronnie Osmer in a critical position for his championship conquest, maybe not in the same up-and-up sense as Madalenas nor Ethan Lane, but a great performance tonight and another podium. Ronnie, 3rd place, and the last stage of this race really made it all count. 11th to 3rd on the day, solid qualifying speed, but I'm not sure if you expected to get as high as you did until those final moments there.
Yeah, I had to play a bit of strategy with how hard it is to pass here. Was really focusing on trying to save tires, and when you lose track position and when it's hard to pass, there's no point. And so tried to take some gambles to better my position, and luckily they all paid off.
And it begins, of course, with that gamble toward the tail end in terms of that rapid rise. But you were all around the field today. Of course, we mentioned qualifying just outside the top 10, but at times found yourself in the lower teens or the higher portion of those 20s. And it looks like tonight you saw it from every perspective. What was it like out there, first and foremost, dealing with traffic, something you did all night, and just putting yourself together for the later portion?
Traffic was pretty tough, and it always is at Phoenix. And track position is king here. Of course, with fresher tires, I had to take advantage of everything I could on every restart. When I had the fresher stuff, and I was able to play the strategy card, and take 2 at the end, and get to the front, get to clean air, and hang on and stay up there.
Now, the final pit stop cycles, that's when it really came to fruition. You were in the top 10, got multiple good restart launches there. And to tell you what, it looks like all those lessons learned really paying off here. Back in the top 3 and building some momentum, Ronnie. You're outside of where the playoff bubble is right now, but a good race like this will pay off in dividends. Next week is Nashville. We'll keep the ovals going. What's next in store for the 55 team, bringing it back up for a successful run?
Hopefully this finish leads to some good momentum. Been on a very tough streak of bad finishes since Talladega. So, and just getting caught in other people's messes or having internet issues for one race. And just really need this race to turn the luck around, and just hope this momentum continues. Even with Nashville is a track I normally struggle at, but hopefully I can just keep this momentum going, keep getting it 1 point at a time, try to fight my way into the playoff picture.
Ronnie Osmer keeping the hope alive with a great finish here from the Phoenix Raceway. 3rd place and capitalizing when it counted. Also leading some laps as well. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave us with? We'd love to hear them.
I want to give a shout out to PH Aware, you for broadcasting, the guys that run this league, and all my guys at Hypersport.
Checkered flag falls. Ronnie Osmer finishing strong. P3 on the day for the 55 crew. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Ronnie Osmer on the way. You've gotten a word from your top 3 drivers. Now, Ronnie Osmer moves up to 12th in points after this event. Ethan Lane up to 6th. Hunter Madalenas up to P5. So gains all around for your top 3 drivers as Osmer goes 3rd, Madalenas goes in 2nd, and Ethan Lane wins from Phoenix. The Integrity Ignite Series is back, and you know what that means. The Octane Series has returned as well. Tomorrow night, we'll be going racing from the virtual Nashville Superspeedway for 150 laps and 200 miles. Until that point, thank you for tuning in to tonight's coverage of the Integrity Ignite Series, race number 14 of the 2025 calendar. We'll be back next week from the Nashville Superspeedway at 9 p.m. EST, same time, same place, live on FTN Broadcasting. Here from the virtual Phoenix Raceway, I've been your host, David Croyd's commentating and producing. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always sincerely appreciated. We'll be live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday this week with the Octane Series Tuesday, the IORA Cup Series on Thursday, and of course the Schumacher Racing League on Sunday night. Until then, thank you for tuning in today. Congratulations to Ethan Lane on his 4th win of the season. We hope you have a fantastic night.